It was early Saturday morning when I noticed movement outside my kitchen window. My HOA neighbor, Karen, had somehow found her way onto my property again. This time, she wasn't just prying around. She was carrying tools, clearly intending to inspect my house for code violations. I grabbed my phone and quietly set up the hidden cameras I had installed weeks ago. They were well hidden, covering every angle of my driveway and front yard. I didn't need to confront her immediately. I had a better plan. Karen moved methodically, checking windows, leaning against doors, muttering to herself about the HOA rules. I could see it all live from my tablet, and I felt my blood boil. How many times did I have to make it clear? I wasn't in her HOA, and my property was mine. Finally, she approached the back door with her tools, clearly ready to make some illegal modification or fix. That's when I called the local authorities, not for a standard complaint, but for her arrest. I had everything documented. Her entering my property without permission, her attempts to alter or inspect the house, and the threats she had made in previous encounters. By the time she tried to open the door, she was unaware that the cameras were broadcasting everything live to the police dispatch. Within minutes, officers arrived, quietly surrounding the house. Karen froze when she saw the first patrol car. I was just checking for violations," she stammered. The lead officer shook his head. "Ma'am, we've got clear evidence of trespassing and attempted property tampering. Please step away from the house." Karen's face went pale, her hands trembling as she realized that her little inspection had backfired spectacularly. She tried to argue, but the video evidence was irrefutable. Every movement, every step onto my property, every tool she brandished recorded and timestamped. By the time they handcuffed her, she was in shock. This isn't fair," she yelled. But fairness had nothing to do with it. Legality did. I had set boundaries, and she had crossed them repeatedly. Later, I reviewed the footage on my tablet. It was satisfying, not out of malice, but because it reinforced a simple truth. Property rights are not negotiable, and repeated intrusions would always have consequences. I knew she'd likely try to appeal or spread gossip, but the facts were on my side. Every officer who arrived had seen the live footage. There was no room for manipulation. By sunset, the neighborhood had calmed, and I could finally relax. I went outside, inspecting my doors, windows, and fences, ensuring everything was secure. My wife joined me, shaking her head. "She never learns, does she?" she said, a mix of disbelief and amusement in her voice. "Nope," I replied. "But that's why we have cameras and the law on our side." As the sky darkened, I felt a sense of peace. For once, I didn't have to worry about someone overstepping boundaries on my property. Karen had learned a hard lesson. Trespassing has consequences, and no amount of HOA power could override the law. And I knew, quietly, that next time she tried something similar, I would be ready, armed with cameras, evidence, and a network of authorities who respected the rules. My home, my property, my rules. And that, I realized, was worth more than any HOA complaint could ever threaten.